You may love oranges, but unless you live in California or Miami, you're not going to get them 12 months a year. The earth just doesn't produce it like that. And the same is true in our lives. The same is true in the lives of the people around us. We may want someone, want our children, want our spouses, want our parents to act in a way, to be something. But if it's not the karmic package they've come into this world with, it's not going to happen. And the real wisdom is like that beautiful serenity prayer that tells us, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that's the wisdom that Ma Saraswati gives us. And then we have 3 days dedicated to Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity. Now, prosperity, of course, is relative. And I say this coming from a world of people who were fabulously wealthy, and yet always felt that there was one thing that they still needed. If I say to you, close your eyes, let's do it, just close your eyes for a moment, and think of the one thing, you may have more than one, but the biggest one thing that stands between you and total happiness and peace. Okay, open your eyes. Everyone have something? This one thing is what keeps us a beggar. Doesn't matter how much there is in our bank account. Doesn't matter whether we're the CEO of $1 billion company. Doesn't matter how many homes we own. As long as there is something that is still between me and happiness, I'm living in an experience of scarcity. I'm living in an awareness of scarcity. There's not enough. Whether it's not enough money, whether it's not enough time every day, whether I don't get enough sleep, whether my husband doesn't tell me he loves me enough times, whether I'm not the most beautiful one at the party, there's not enough beauty. I'm not the most popular one, I don't have enough friends. Whatever it is, if there's something that I don't have enough of, I'm living in an experience of scarcity, not prosperity. And what Lakshmi gives us, what we pray to Lakshmi for, is not fill my bank account, not make me CEO or give me the corner office, but give me the experience of having enough. Give me the experience of knowing that right here, in this moment, I have enough and I am enough. Doesn't mean we don't have goals. Goals are wonderful. It's wonderful to use the skills that we have, the abilities that we have to help the world. As long as there's suffering in the world, as long as anyone goes to sleep hungry, as long as any woman is dying in childbirth, as long as our rivers are drying up, there's work to be done. But it's not so that I can be filled. It's not because there's something lacking in me that I need to do this to become enough. So we pray to Mahalakshmi for the experience, the knowledge that we are enough. Otherwise, we spend our lives running after things. Today you've closed your eyes, you've thought of the one thing. But I can almost guarantee you that if I had asked you to do this a year ago, it would have been something else. 5 years ago, it would have been something else. 5 years from now, it would be something else. That's the epidemic that almost all of us live with. Just I need this, then just I need that. And it goes on and on and on. And so the real prosperity is living with the experience of enough. And the way that you know that is when you share. If your instinct is to hoard and to grab, whether it's money, whether it's people's attention and affection, whether it's items, material goods, whether it's food, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's sex, whatever it is, if our instinct is to hoard more and more, to grab more and more, we're living as beggars. And yet, going back to the first part, what are we? We're infinite. We're divine. We've been created not just of the Creator, but by the Creator. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. That's the mantra that reminds us you are full, you're whole, you're complete. You're divine. So surely you're enough. That's the prosperity. So in these 9 days, today is your last one. Make it a good night. Have the experience of knowing. If that one thing happens, great. But even before it happens, even if it never happens, in this moment, who you are, what you have, it's whole, it's complete, it's perfect, it's divine, it's enough. And lastly, the 3 days that actually come first in the holiday, but I've brought them last in talking, which are the days dedicated to the more fierce aspects of Shakti, whether we say Durga, whether we say Kali, but that Shakti aspect that comes in and clears from us all of that which is preventing us from having the wisdom, from having the prosperity. That energy that comes in and removes whatever is blocking the truth of ourselves from us, whatever is blocking us from living in peace, in joy. And I'm going to tell you a secret. The answer of what's blocking us is us. And if you walk away and you take home one thing, it's that. It's us. We are the ones. It's very easy to blame the outside. We all can come up with at least one thing, if not 100 things that would make our lives better, if only the people, the traffic, interest rates would be different. If our elected officials would be different. If ISIS would be different. I mean, we can come up with things. But that which blocks us from actually experiencing real joy and peace. And that's different. Let me just stop for a moment here. That's different than saying, everything's great. Everything is not great. All you have to do is walk out into the street to know that. People are hungry. People are suffering. People are killing each other. Our environment is being destroyed. We know this. So the awareness when we talk about peace and joy, it's not that I've cut myself off from the reality of the world. It's not a catatonic bliss. It's the ability to rest within the truth of our own being, which is joy and is bliss and is peace, despite what is going on around us. And then to be able to use what we have to help the world. If I push it away, it's all fine, it doesn't matter. The guy in front of me falls down, I say, oh, must be his karma. This is not enlightenment. This is not spirituality. This is disconnection. When we talk about joy and peace, it's not that which we get from disconnecting. It's that which we get from deeply connecting within ourselves to the source, to that divinity, that creative aspect within ourselves of joy, of peace, of love that isn't dependent on the world. And when I have that, here's the other secret. If you actually want to do something for the world, you have to be peaceful and calm. Because if you're angry, or if you're wrapped up in your own ego, or if you're distracted and frustrated and stressed out, you're not actually going to be very effective for the world. And so that ability to connect within ourselves is not only the best thing for us, but it's actually the best thing for the world. And so those 3 days are days in which we literally pray, oh Ma, remove from me that which blocks me from my own source, that blocks me from being directly connected to you, from replenishing myself with you, from knowing that it's all one. Remove all of that so that I can have room for real wisdom, so I can have room for the experience of real prosperity. And there's only one night left, but the beautiful thing is about this type of experience, it can happen in an instant. This room was pitch black until they came in and flipped on the lights. But the minute the light goes on, the darkness is over. Doesn't have to happen slowly, 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 slowly. The minute the light is really there, the darkness dissipates. Doesn't mean we don't still have work to do, but that's what we have our lives for. But that light, the light comes in an instant. And all we have to do is open ourselves to that possibility and allow that which is blocking it from us to be removed. Our egos, our attachments, our grudges, our vision of how things should be. All of that, that's what's making us miserable. So tonight, before you sleep, take some time. Sit on the banks of Ganga, Sit on your roof, sit on your bed. Doesn't matter where you sit. But take some time and just allow that beautiful, divine, fiery energy to come in and wash through you. And then allow the real wisdom and the real prosperity to come in the place of that which was keeping you stuck.